Hello everybody and happy Monday. My desk is a total mess and I'm going to share with you guys so much today because I've been crafting a ton and I want to show you guys some monochromatic cards. So on Mondays recently I have been sharing with you simple cards made with fun techniques. And I don't know if I'm quite out of order. I've been doing designer paper and monochromatic, and we've just been focusing on some really fun techniques. And so I might be a little bit out of order, but I made a bunch of cards over the weekend and I want to share with you. So these are the in colors that are retiring. So currently the Berry Burst, Tranquil Tide, look, that piece slipped in the wrong place. Fresh Fig, and then Lemon Lime Twist. These are all retiring colors. So that just means that these colors are going away. And if you want to pick up any of these colors, you'll want to do it now. So anything like inks, cardstocks, ribbons, anything in these 5 colors are retiring. So what I did is I always pull my retiring product off my shelf and I keep it separate. And so I have quite a bit of cardstock here that's retiring, and I usually don't have this much. So what I did is I pulled this because I needed to make some cards for my church. We have a brand new pastor that has just come and taken over our church, and the pastor's wife requested some cards to be able to send out to members. So I pulled all my retiring cardstock. These colors are beautiful, and since I have so much of it, I thought I would mass produce a bunch of cards with these colors. And then I also pulled designer paper that we had a couple years ago. This came out when the In Colors first came out, and it's just these really beautiful designs. I always buy packs like this. This came in a pack of, it was like a really large pack. I think it was like 48 sheets and it was 12 by 12. And then it was these colors. And I always purchase, especially if it goes on the clearance rack, a couple packs like this to keep on hand for this exact reason. So let me dive in and show you the card we're going to make, and then I'm going to show you several other designs. So I wanted to keep it really simple because I'm mass producing a lot of cards. So mass producing just means you're producing a lot more than just one card, right? So doing a monochromatic design is going to keep it simple so that you can produce these quickly. So what I have here is I have the cardstock, and instead of using Whisper White cardstock for my card base, I'm actually just using the color cardstock I'm working with. For these darker colors, I will put in a piece of Whisper White cardstock, like a matte, so that when Vanessa, that's our pastor's wife, that's her name, when she writes in the card, she doesn't struggle with that. So this is Berry Burst, so I'm just starting out with a standard A2 size card. I took a piece of 8.5 by 11 cardstock and I folded it. I cut it at 4 1/4 and then I folded it in half. So then I took the designer paper, and this particular card, I just took the designer paper and I took 1/4 inch off. So now this is 4 inches by 5 1/4. And you can see I'm using my ATG gun for my adhesive because I'm doing so many of these. So that's a great way to, it's a little bit more cost efficient when you're using an ATG gun instead of your snail when you're doing so many. So now we have this. So now instead of using ribbon, I'm just going to turn that piece of cardstock over, and this is just a 1 inch strip by 4 1/4. And so we're just going to put this right in the middle of the card. Again, I'm keeping all of these designs really simple, but I can't wait to show you guys how they turned out. So this is our card. So now what I've done is I've taken a Whisper White circle, or I've taken Whisper White cardstock, and I've cut from my stitched dies, and I've created this circle, and then I've done my stamping. And I'm going to show you guys all of these different sentiments I'm using, because I used quite a few, and I used some that are not Stampin' Up, but that I keep around for when I need to do cards for the church or different things. So let's put this right here in the middle. And then what I've done is I've just taken my butterfly punch and I've punched 3 of the small butterflies, and I'll use my snail for this. And we're just going to attach these butterflies right onto the card. And then we'll take our rhinestones, because of course if we have butterflies, then we definitely need rhinestones on these butterflies. And then that is this card. So this one says faith can move mountains. And then let me show you all the other ones that I did. So I did this same design, but I used the Hold On to Hope stamp set, and I just put that sentiment right in the middle, but it's the same design, so you can see the 2 different designs. I did these with the Tranquil Tide, and I used the Tranquil Tide ribbon. And this one says, may the Lord be gracious and give you peace. And then the Lord's strength will support me is the next one that I did. Then in the pink, I have God is our refuge and strength. And then let your faith be bigger than your fear. So that is done in the pink. And you can see that these are really simple designs. This one just has the flag and then a circle and then a whisper white piece of cardstock for the sentiment. So what I'm doing is I'm just keeping the same colored cardstock with the same piece of designer paper, and then I totally could use the ink for the sentiment in the same color, but I really wanted the sentiment to pop, so that's why I used black. And then same thing here. I'm just using the cardstock and then that same piece of designer paper, and then you'll notice like on this one I popped up this piece. So basically all of my measurements are really easy. Like this piece of cardstock is 4 by 5 1/4, which is the same layer as this one. And then I just took another 1/4 inch off for the designer paper, and then I popped this whole piece up. So that's one way to get a really nice look for your cards by adding dimension to those layers. So then this one, I did really simple. I didn't pop this piece up and I didn't add any layer behind it. But there is a layer for here. So here's my card base. Then I did another layer of the lemon lime twist and I popped that up, and then I added this piece of designer paper and then just a circle, just a stitched circle with a black outline, and then I added black rhinestones, which is something we had several years ago, and again I just had it in my stash, and so I just wanted to use it up. So he is my rock, and then God is good is this design, and I did several of those. And then I did these, which I used for this set. I used Country Home, and I used this sentiment. I wanted to pick sentiments that were large and would really stand out. So here I did this, and again I did a very basic design where I did the cardstock and then the designer paper and then a strip. And so then adding the rhinestones helped that to pop. So here's this one. And then I had done this one as well, where it's the same design basically, but there is a small strip up here of the cardstock. It's just I cut the designer paper at a different length and I added the twine. But I quickly realized I didn't want to do things like this because it was so time consuming. So by not doing things like this and maybe adding rhinestones, or like rhinestones like this, or even the small butterflies, it goes a lot quicker. So I hope you enjoyed seeing all of these monochromatic cards. I enjoyed making them, and I still have several to go. I'm mass producing. I want to make about 200. So I'm looking for simple layouts that I can just use and then get this cardstock used up. That will be a perfect way to use all of that up. and then we'll have cards for quite a while, which will be perfect. The other stamp sets that I used that are not Stampin' Up! Are from Reverse Confetti. And I love these. This is God is Good. And then there is one that is the Lord's Strength. And I tried to use all of the sentiments basically from these. And then this one is My Rock. And that is Reverse Confetti. And they're really great to have in my collection. I like having these in there. So anyways, you guys, there are lots of photos over on my website and most likely over on Facebook if you want to see individual photos of these. And then as always, you can purchase any of the supplies in my online store that I can link, like the Hold On to Hope stamp set or the Country Home stamp set. And then if you're wanting any of these colors and any of the things that we still have ribbon in these colors. We still have re-inkers and cardstock. Make sure you pick those up because they are retiring in just a couple weeks and some things are already sold out. So I hope you guys have a wonderful day and I will talk to you guys tomorrow.